Thanks for joining. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit tonight about what is an independent insurance agent and just kind of explain to you a little bit about how the commission works. I know that's the kind of stuff y'all really want to know, right? So anyways, I'm Sara Sordi with Sordi Insurance Services. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what is an independent insurance agent first off. So an independent insurance agent represents multiple different insurance companies, okay? So if you're to compare me to someone like Allstate, Farmers, AAA, those types of insurance companies, they're only that one insurance company. So if you have your agent for Farmers only can write business with Farmers, no other insurance company. And so let's say that something happens with, their underwriting, about, I don't know, I think it was about 8 years ago or so, they were really getting strict on wood shake roofs. So if you had a wood shake roof, they were going to cancel you, okay? They just decided that they didn't want to insure anybody at all who had a wood shake roof. So you got canceled. And those insurance agents had nowhere else to place you, okay? So me being an independent insurance agent, I have multiple different insurance companies that I represent. So if you do get canceled, like, something like that happens, I can place you with another one of my insurance companies. And sometimes, the thing with insurance is the market goes up and down just like everything else, right? So there's called the hard market and then there's the soft market. So the hard market is when insurance companies get super, super picky, okay? They're gonna they're gonna look at everything about you. They're gonna wanna know your whole, they're gonna wanna know your social security number and run a credit check on you. Yeah, that was going on 10 years ago. It was a super hard market, and that was what was happening, okay? So if you're just with one of those direct companies, that's all they're gonna have to offer, okay? And when insurance companies have a lot of claims in a certain area and they feel that they're not profitable, that's when they decide, okay, we're not going to insure these types of homes. So how the Farmers said, okay, we're not going to insure wood shake roofs, that's because they found that they were having a lot of claims with the wood shake roof. And so, they're paying out a lot of money, and so it wasn't profitable. Also with mold became a really, really popular thing, and that people were having, not popular like, hey, it just happened to be that people were turning in a lot of different mold claims. Stuff was going wrong with their house, right? And people, they were having these water claims, and people, say you've got a rental, and the people who are breathing in that mold were getting sick, and the mold, mold can spread all in your house, right? So what happened was insurance companies, they used to have on the policy where mold is just covered up to whatever the amount you have in if you have your house insured for $300,000, you're going to get $300,000. Well, what happened was they put limitations on that. So different, and most insurance companies now, maybe you can get $10,000, $50,000 of coverage, but you're not going to get up to that dwelling limit. So, me representing different insurance companies by being an independent agent, I can offer you different types of policies too. We have kind of, the Mercedes of policies that give you all the nice bells and whistles and lots of different coverages. Pretty much anything that's going to happen to your house, you're going to be covered. And then there's more of a basic policy. So if you're a person who's more price conscientious, and maybe having those extra coverages are not important to you, then, I have insurance companies that provide those types of policies too. And so just some of those things that, people don't even think about that are included on your policy would be jewelry and guns. There's limitations on those. It's not just however much jewelry you have. That's not the only thing that's going to, you know, it's not going to be covered. If you've got $200,000 for personal property, you don't have $200,000 for jewelry, or else everybody else would say, oh, hey, I had a claim and I had $100,000 worth of jewelry, $50,000 worth of cash. So they have a specific limitations on the policy. So your policy only probably provides you $200 to $1,000 for cash. So anyways, it's just something to think about, and that's why it's good to have an independent agent who has different insurance companies. So trying to think what else. Okay, so now I started off working in other large firms in town. Okay, I've worked at pretty much all of the if you're in Fresno here, I've worked pretty much for pretty much all of the big insurance agencies. And so and they're all good companies, but I just want to tell you kind of what the difference is with working with those type of big agencies. And I'm not it's not slinging mud at anybody, because you know, like I said, I worked there. They taught me a lot, great experience, and I have lots of friends and people who work there too. But just to kind of let you know the difference in the big independent insurance agencies in town that you may know of, and me, okay? So when I did work with the large agencies, the most recent place that I worked at, the structure of it is they wanted me to meet with the client, review the policy, and basically provide the policy to the client, sell the policy, okay? Then once the client signed the policy, signed the application, decided they wanted to go with the policy, then they were supposed to get sorry about that. They were supposed to get handled by or serviced by somebody else in the office. Okay, so then that person they're called the CSR, Customer Service Representative. Every large insurance agency has one. Okay, and I started off there. I'm not not saying anything bad on them, but they're paid salary. Okay, so if you leave, it does not affect that customer service rep at all. Okay, usually customer service reps are natural by personality. They're kind of people pleasers and they want to make you happy anyways. But just saying, you know, there are difficult clients out there. Yes, I've dealt with very difficult clients and demanding clients. And guess what? If you're a demanding client and you leave and I just get paid salary, I'm going to get paid the same amount no matter what. What do you think? Do you think it makes a big deal? Do you think maybe if every time you call and complain or whatever, might just be like, okay. And I'm not saying I'm one of the complainers, but just think about, you know, we're all kind of motivated a little bit by money, right? So, and then that person your agent who sold you the policy, you know, the way it works for the commission is the commission goes to the house. So goes to the big agency, okay? And then they pay on personal lines, so your home and your auto, generally 20% of the commission that came in. So let's just say your policy generated, I'm just going to use even numbers, but let's just say that your policy generated $100 of commission, okay? So that means your agent is going to be getting $20, okay? And then when your policy renews, they probably are not going to get any commission at all, okay? And that's because they're paying, I mean, generally most agencies don't think of as personal lines as a big moneymaker. Commercial lines is what they focus on, you know, because somebody at commercial lines, you know, their business, they may be paying $150,000 a year, you know, or more for their insurance premium. So the commission on that is going to be much, much more than a personal lines policy where maybe you pay $3,000 or something like that. So if you think about $3,000 and how much commission that might bring in versus, and it's the same percentage. It's the same percentage for both versus 150,000. So that commercial lines agent is, the personal lines part is not so important to him, especially when he gets paid 20%. Maybe some agencies he gets paid 40%. Okay, so instead of getting $20, he's going to get $40. Okay. And let's say you have you're a big personal lines account. Okay. And again, I'm throwing out even numbers. So again, $1,000 of commission you generate for this agency. Okay. So this agent, this commercial lines agent who helps you out with your personal lines, he's going to get $200. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, on his commercial lines policy, he's probably bringing in like $10,000 of commission or some what have you. So this $200, it's a lot of times not even worth it to them. You know what I mean? It's not worth their hassle. And if you leave, again, no real big concern. Okay, so a lot of times people will be like, oh, I know somebody who's in the insurance agent or insurance industry. I've got this friend, but they specialize more in commercial. Well, guess what? That person's probably not going to really care too much if you leave your personal. Maybe it could be an ego part. If you're a friend, they might think that they did something wrong or something like that. But financially, it doesn't generally make that big of a difference. So now let me tell you the difference in myself. I get 100% of that commission because it's me. I'm the only person. I have nobody to pay, right? I'm the one who is on call for you. I'm the one who's there for you. I'm the one who, when you need something, you're going to call me. You're going to text me. Whatever you need, you have a claim, you're going to call me. And I get paid all that commission. So again, I'm going to use the $1,000 example. So if you brought in $1,000 of commission, your policy, I'm going to get $1,000, okay? This other large agency or, any independent insurance agent, actually, unless it's, a sole person like me where it's just a one-man band, they're going to get probably 20% to maybe 40%. I don't know. I haven't really seen 40% in a long time, but usually 20% commission, okay? That's all they're going to be getting. So they're going to get $200, and I'm going to get $1,000. So who do you think is going to work harder for you? Who do you think? The person who makes $200 or $1,000? And again, if one of my clients leaves me, it's a huge hit to me, right? Because I lost $1,000. Or, whereas them, if they lose the $200, it's not as big of a deal. For them, they're focusing on their commercial accounts because those ones they're making $10,000 on. And actually commercial lines agents, so sometimes when they've got these really, really big accounts, that's what they're focusing on so much, right? They've got huge accounts where, I don't know, maybe they pay $400,000 or what have you. So that person, they're servicing that account all the time, right? So because they want to try to save them and keep them as a client. And sometimes what happens then is if that client leaves them, it's a huge, huge hit. In personal lines, it's not as big of a deal because you have so many different, you have multiple clients. So right now I have 300 clients. So hi, thank you for just joining here, Josh. So I was just talking about I was basically talking about the commission difference, okay? Really, I know everybody wants to know. That's something I'm always interested in, at least. So I was talking about with independent agencies and say the large independent insurance agencies versus me, okay? So the big shops, in town. Or anybody else basically that is not a sole prop. So me, I'm just a one-man band here, okay? So those people, I'm just using general commission figures, okay? This is not actually just easy math, okay? So the commission that comes in, say you bring in $1,000 of commission for the agency, okay? If you're at another one of those large shops, the actual agent who writes your policy only is gonna make about $200, okay? And that's a really big account for personal lines. That's a really big account. And whereas me, because I am the house, I'm the only person, I'm going to get the full $1,000. So just saying, who's going to work harder for you? If you've got an issue, if you've got a claim, who's going to really value you and I'm not saying that the other person's not necessarily doesn't care about you at all, but that's why every single one of my clients it's like family. I know all of them. I actually have all my clients programmed in my phone, and if I can find you on social media, if you have a LinkedIn, if you have a Facebook, wherever you are, I have went and saved your picture and put it as your profile picture. Whatever you've got as your profile picture, that's my profile picture on my phone, because as I grow, I still want to build that connection and feel like I know every one of you. I try to meet everybody, but again, so if you have a claim, I'm going to be there. I'm going to take care of you, and if you ever are unhappy, something like that, I'm going to jump through hoops and do whatever I can to make you happy. Some things I just can't control, but I'm going to get on the phone with the insurance company and I'm going to fight for you. So, again, just kind of going back, I know, we're all motivated by money a little bit, right? So, who is the person you think who's going to work harder for you? The person who's going to bring in $1,000 for you or $200? And again, those are just numbers that's not how much money I make off of every client. But like I was saying, commercial lines people, though, the insurance agents that focus on commercial lines, they make, that and more per account. And I actually have some, the thing is with commercial accounts too, is they usually will help you with your personal insurance as a service, because they want to keep you happy. So they'll say, I'll handle everything for you. But still, the commercial lines agent, most of the time, they don't even know that much about personal lines. So, or personal insurance. I'm using my lingo. Yeah, personal insurance is called personal lines. So sorry for my lingo there, but so they'll do it as a service, and sometimes, because like I was saying, those customer service reps, they just get paid salary. So let's say you're the commercial lines agent and you go over to your customer service rep and you say, hey there, can you give me a quote for Joe? He's buying this house. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll get right on it. They've got all this stuff on their desk. They're not motivated by, sometimes I wish I get this, because sometimes I'm super stressed out, but sometimes I wish I could just come and sit at my desk and I get paid exact the same amount if I didn't do any work all day, or if I did, and really, and again, I'm not trying to put down customer service reps, because I started off there, I did that. So, but, they can move as slow as they want or as fast as they want, right? Well, if you call me and you say, I'm buying a house, I need the quote for it, I'm going to try to get that to you right away, because I want to respond to you timely. And that's basically how I differentiate myself from my competition, because I do know, because I've worked at all those big shops, I know how they operate, and sometimes it takes them a couple days. I actually have a couple, I have like about a handful of commercial lines insurance agents. They work for, I'm not going to say the name, but they work for a large agency in town, and they actually refer their personal insurance clients to me, because they don't trust that their personal lines people get back to them quick enough. They don't respond to them fast enough. They'll just sit a file sitting on their desk and they're not getting back to them, or it's too complicated. Because sometimes if you've got stuff going on, like maybe a business out of your house and just different things. Maybe you've got a house in the back of yours that you rent out. You've got some different circumstances that make it hard for you to get insured. So you could be like, oh, I'm gonna put that off, right? I mean, we all kind of procrastinate on stuff that you don't really want to do. It's the harder, more complex ones. So that's what happened with that's how they found me. Is they're like, this, My customer service rep has not got back to me in 2 months. 2 months for this person they were trying to insure. And they insured the business and they were trying to insure the personal part of it. And they were feeling terrible for this lady because they weren't getting back to her. Well, I did quotes for her. I insured her whole family. I even drove to San Jose and went and met with her and went over all of her applications because she's an older lady and gets a little bit confused sometimes. So I went over all of that stuff with her. I met her staff that all works there and they were all very nice. And I even helped her go through and organize all of her insurance documents because she's just one of these people that just like, when stuff comes in, you just stack and stack and stack and stack. And she basically had like, I don't know, years and years and years of insurance stuff. And I made her a nice little organized binder so that she had all of her insurance information there, And I mean, that's not something I typically could do, but for this lady, I seen it was necessary. I seen that she needed this because sometimes she would kind of forget our last conversation. And so I just wanted her to be organized and help her out. So, sometimes I go that extra mile, which actually when you work in the office as a salary person, you're really not even actually allowed to leave the office to go meet a client because of all these liability things. So I just would always be there. I could fax you or email you, but I wasn't ever allowed to meet with you. And, you could come to the office, but I mean, let's be honest. I don't know. I would maybe meet someone once every 2 months. Someone would come. I don't even know if that often someone would come to the office, which is why I work from my home. Nobody wants to come. I go to my clients. I go meet them at a Starbucks. I go to where they are. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful information for you. And just to kind of recap again, as far as what the difference is between me being an independent insurance agent versus like AAA, Farmers, those types of insurance companies, is that if you are insured with them and for some reason they decide to cancel you or really significantly increase your rates due to a claim or, just accidents, driving records, stuff like that, I have multiple different insurance companies that I can quote you with. Even if you've got a DUI, I can place insurance for you. And it's not one of those fly-by-night insurance companies. Nope, it's not one of those ones that you hear on the radio. Oh, okay, so one more thing I just thought of. Okay, so a lot of times the insurance companies, I tell people about, they're like, okay, I've never heard of that. Do you have AAA? Do you have Farmers? I don't know the name of that insurance company. I've never heard of them. Like, all the insurance companies I represent are A-rated. What does that mean? That just means that they have money to pay your claim, okay? And they all have good claim service. And again, I am not do not represent any of those fly-by-night insurance companies, nor is that my clientele. My clientele is the type of people who actually care about the coverages they want if they get in a claim or have a claim. Okay, so my point is that some of the insurance names you may have never heard of. Okay, so say like Allied, for example. Okay, most people don't know about Allied unless they're insured with Allied, but they're owned by Nationwide. So if I say Nationwide, then you're like, oh, okay, I've heard that commercial Nationwide is on your side. Safeco is owned by Liberty Mutual. So a lot of the insurance companies that I represent and are just basically, they're an independent insurance agent version, but they're owned by the large big names. And so those big names, why you know them is because I spent a lot of money on marketing dollars, okay? But for me, or any independent insurance agent who has access to those companies, you just have, totally had a brain fart. But basically what I was trying to say is those companies are depending on us to sell their product. It's pretty much the same product. Like if you have Nationwide and Allied, okay, you can go directly. You can call Nationwide and you can get insurance with Nationwide directly. Okay, or you can get insurance with Allied and have an agent like me, okay? So when you get in a claim, you have someone to represent you, okay? But their premiums are pretty much the same, and even the coverages on the policy, it almost even looks the same, okay? So the difference is you have an agent, so when you have a claim, you can call your agent, because let's say that insurance adjuster is not getting back to you, they're not returning your calls, you call me, okay? I had this one guy actually told me, he said, the reason I have you is, or I switched from, he was with one of those online companies. He said because if something goes wrong, he wants to call me and yell at me. He wants to have someone to yell at, right? Because whoever you've talked to in your 800 number, when you got your policy, they're not, you think that's going to be the person if you have a claim, they're not going to be there when you have a claim. You know, you're going to get whatever random person, and they're not going to be accountable to you, okay? So, and I gotta wrap this up. I do have to somewhere. I have somewhere to be real quick. But my last point is about having an independent insurance agent is if you get in a claim and it's the other party's fault, and you're trying to go through their insurance and do all that. If they're insured with one of those fly-by-night insurance companies, they're not going to get back to you right away. I mean, I'm telling you, and this is a service that I provide for my clients who have claims, and you know, it's the other party's fault. I will call, because the adjuster is not going to call them back. It's going to take forever. And it's going to take me calling and getting the manager and then getting transferred around. You don't want to do that. You're busy and you pay a lot of money for insurance. So you want to be taken care of when you have a claim, right? So that's what I'm here for. I will do your dirty work, okay? I will call and I will work my way up to the manager and I'll say, you call my client back. They've left you 3 messages. You call back. And then they say, oh, actually Sally's handling the claim now. It's no longer Sue. And then I'm going to call Sally and I'm going to say, no joke, like 45 minutes of my time I spend, you know, I just put it on speaker and do other things, but those are the types of things that I do for my clients. So anyways, I hope that I have addressed some of your questions, and if you have any more questions, feel free to comment below or message me, and I hope that you have a great night. Bye-bye.